Well, hey everyone, welcome to C4C Minecraft. This is Badgerfish here, welcoming you to another episode of Adventure and Education. We're going to have a little fun today. You'll notice that this is not my typical stage. This is an ocean monument that I tackled some time ago. You can see I've had a little bit of fun with it. I have completely emptied it all out, and I have, in fact, lowered it another 5 blocks and expanded it. So at some point, this might be a nice big base. And for those of you who have eyeballs, you'll probably notice that this looks a little different than regular Minecraft. What I'm using is a shader pack in the Java version, and it does some really cool stuff. It makes these little torches look gorgeous, makes that nether portal look kind of exciting, and just adds some really cool shading and so forth. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this big ocean monument base right now. Maybe turn it into a secret base and hide all my good stuff in here or whatever. But you'll notice it's completely empty, been completely drained. It turns out this particular ocean monument did not come with a sponge room, which I thought was kind of a big jip, but I found out it's about 1 in 10 rooms or 1 in 10 ocean monuments that don't have a sponge room. So I ended up draining this monument with the whopping 2 sponges that I managed to salvage from the Elder Guardians. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but with respiration and some nice armor and tools, I was able to conquer it. You'll notice that I have a nether portal here, like I mentioned earlier. That is very important because there is no way back out of this ocean monument because it is ridiculously dangerous. I have it blocked off here. I'm going to turn on my HUD here so I can see a little bit. And make sure I have some blocks in my inventory so that I can show you what on earth this looks like. You can see this place is just filled with guardians outside, and it's just a mess. So I'm going to block that off. You can see, let's see, did any get in here? I have been fighting some of them because, well, they're terrible. They hop in here and they bounce around. They're really hard to hit. So that's a non-base. That's a base. Like I said, it would be very difficult to conquer my base without knowing where the nether portal is, because trying to get through all of those guardians out there would be a challenge. And I have also dug down to bedrock down here, and I'm working on some other stuff. So I got some chests of materials. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go and adventure forth. One of the things we're going to do is talk about the lesson that we covered in our last monthly meetup. So I'm going to get my minecart here, and I will throw that on the rail, hop in, and press the old button, and we're on our way. All right, well, this is my beehive room. Using bee nests and beehives. And we're going to talk about the Beatitudes. That was the lesson that we covered last month in our monthly meetup for the C4C crew. We had a small but good group of folks, and we had a good time. But the lesson, like I said, was about the Beatitudes. It was a lesson that Jesus gave to a crowd of folks. And we're going to read a little bit in Matthew chapter 5, starting in verse 3. I'm going to take a quick look at my redstone because these collection machines don't always catch it. You can see that this redstone isn't lit, but that one is it lit? As I look at this nest over here, because this is a bee nest and this is a beehive, I can see that there is honey in there. So I am going to break this redstone here, and you can see that it triggered it. For some reason, my machines aren't quite operating the way they're supposed to. And they don't always trigger like they're supposed to. At some point, I'll probably get that figured out. I'm going to pop that off of there, put that back. You can hear them operating when I put that redstone. Let's see, I think we're in good shape now. So I can see that all of these bee nests have been drained of honey. I'm collecting honey bottles on some of these. Ooh, I got 12 in that one. Oh, these I have shears in so I can collect honeycomb. There's another bottle. Oh, there we go, 2 more bottles. And 6 bottles, giving me a total of 22 bottles in the dispensers. But over here, looks like I have another 4 and some honeycomb. So you can see that I've been collecting. It's not a huge farm, but it definitely has produced quite a bit. And I'm going to make some honey blocks here. So I'm going to grab that. And I'm going to drop these 4 at a pop. And I will get 8 honey blocks. So I'll add that to my little stash of 51. We can also take some of this honeycomb. And I think we do the full 9. Nope, I guess it's just 8. Or the 4, I mean. There we go. And we get some honeycomb blocks. And that's what they look like here. Kind of a pretty little pattern there. Now, like I said, I was going to read off some of Matthew chapter 5 while we look at these bee nests here. I could really use some decoration, so if you have any tips, please leave them in the comments below. I might put in some sea lanterns or shroom lights or something when I get a little itch for that. I am not a big decorator, but I can get the machines working, sort of. All right, let's take a look at Matthew chapter 3. It says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." I had to look that up, and the term poor in spirit typically means just somebody who understands that they are not perfect. You know, if we know that we're not perfect and we know that we need a savior, when we seek God out, ours will be the kingdom of heaven. In verse 4, it says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." And I appreciate that, because it doesn't matter where you are in life, no matter how life has treated you. Life can be difficult at times, and we do go through difficult times. And when we seek God out, we will be comforted. And in verse 5, it says, "Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth." Now, the word meek is often associated with weakness in our present-day culture, but what it really means is power under control. Like Moses. Moses was weak, but he had God's ear, and therefore he had a lot of power to call on when anything needed to be done. But he kept it under wraps and only brought it out when God called him to do it. So he was meek. Oh, that bee was covered in pollen. Well, while we're talking about those verses, let's explore a little bit more of the world so you can see more of the builds that folks have been busy working on. Like my little cow and sheep farm here. It's kind of crazy in here. And I don't know if those are the most healthy conditions for cows and sheep, but it is Minecraft and they're not real, so I think we're in the clear on that. All right, well, today we're going to take a look at, like I said, some builds. I'm going to throw on my elytra and get my rockets out here. This shader pack just makes things look gorgeous, doesn't it? Look at those beautiful clouds. We'll take a look at the sun peeking through the clouds. Look at that. I love how wispy the clouds are. It's just beautiful. I'm very impressed with this shader. So, if you want to see something special, you can head on over to Hannah's Hotel, which we've talked about in a previous episode. But if you hang a left here, look what rises up out of the mist. It's Larry Boy. Special thanks to the Shalom 7 Yeshua for putting this pixel art together. Look at the size of Larry Boy. I'm going to perch here somewhere where we can see it in its glory. There we go. Nice soft landing. Look at that. that had to take some effort. That's a lot of blocks of dyed wool, and it is exactly what Larry Boy looks like, with the silly plunger ears and funny belt. There's even the fib down there from an episode of Larry Boy. And right next to that is a big Cookie Monster. He's got a big chocolate chip cookie, claws, and look at that big old mouth. Ready to chomp on that cookie. That's fun. And silly all at the same time. And I just fell off. Let's climb out of here again. Gotta watch where you're walking in our world. Over here, we have the angel. Let's see what it says on the signs here. Cross the Jordan with the ark, split the water. Oh, and this is the Ark of the Covenant. Joshua met with the angel before attacking Jericho. So I don't quite think that Joshua saw an angel this big, but it's hard to make smaller things in Minecraft. I want to thank Tiffa Tuffa for putting this one together. That's very pretty. Looks like there's some amethyst blocks up there, glowstone, and what is this, smooth stone? Calcite? No, it's diorite. Yeah, polished diorite there. And yes, the angel was made in loving memory of Pastor Louise Nelson from First Christian Church, where our Minecraft group is based out of. So kind of exciting there. It's not too far from spawn. So let's take another look off in the distance here. We're going to fly off. I don't want to get lost out here. Make sure I get to the right place. Aha! Here is Egypt. And I'm going to find a good landing spot here. We're going to take a look at the 10 plagues. I'm not sure that skeleton horses were part of the 10 plagues, but they do look ominous here. Let's take a look. So here was the first plague when the water was turned into blood. This is a small sample of what really happened back in the day. And there's a little bit more of the water into blood because that's what happened to all of the water in Egypt. All of it. And I would imagine it was probably pretty nasty. This actually probably paints a pretty good picture of what it might have been like. Kind of disturbing. As you can see, there were frogs. Let's see, gigantic hail was another one of the plagues. Massive hailstones fell from the sky and injured and killed many. Then we have gnats and lice. Granted, these are definitely a bit bigger than the ones that they saw in Egypt, but these get the point across. They covered everything. Let's take a look up here. I want to say this is flies. Oh, this is a zombie fly. Yeah, there was the plague of the flies. Oh, and then the boils. Yeah, everybody got sick. That's an interesting way to portray boils in Minecraft. Kind of disturbing, but then again, so are boils. And then the plague of the locusts, where the locusts swarmed in and flew and ate up all the crops and were everywhere. Let's see here. I don't think I've explored all of this village yet. Let's see what else is going on here. And darkness. Yeah, the darkness just settled in. All of Egypt was plunged into darkness except where the Israelites were, which is a miracle. All of it's a miracle, of course, but very fascinating. And then the really awful one at the end was Egypt's firstborn all dead. Oh, so we have a skull in here. That's interesting. I don't even know how to make one of those. I'll have to find out. Anyway, yeah, it was the last plague, and Pharaoh had his opportunity, and he decided that he didn't want to listen at all until it was the last one. And then, of course, here we see that it was called the Passover. They would put blood on the top of their doors to show the angel of death to pass over. So that's where we get the term Passover. So wherever that blood was shown, There was no one found dead in there. That's kind of a dark topic, isn't it? But that is Egypt. So we will switch back into our elytra and take off again. So my mission today, if I can make sure I find my way back, is you'll notice that in my inventory here, my chest plate is, well, what you may notice more importantly, first of all, is that all of my tools are back to being netherite again. I have been busy trying to restore all of my armor and my tools. And what I have left is my chest plate. And I would like to get that going. So today we're going to take a little adventure into the Nether, and we're going to go collect some ancient debris, and we'll go and make some netherite. This area over here is where I do all of mine. I can never remember exactly where it is. Here we go. Oh, good grief. We have a bunch of Endermen in here. That's weird. All right, we need to eat again. You may wonder where on earth I am bringing you. Well, I am bringing you to a massive underground ancient debris farming location. As you can see, we have farmed and farmed. And when I say farm, I am talking about searching for and blowing up lots and lots of the Nether, looking for ancient debris to make netherite, because man, netherite's some great stuff, isn't it? So you can see that I've gone way down in these directions. I even bumped into a completely different biome. Oh, looks like that one's kind of collapsed. No, it isn't. Here we go. Yeah, definitely gone quite a ways in all these directions trying to find some of that stuff. That's blackstone over there. That's really not worth digging into. And yeah, some of these tunnels go quite a ways in. Maybe our plan should be to head off in a new direction, although every direction in this place is completely destroyed. I think we're going to go down here because it looks like we have some opportunities. So my method of collecting ancient debris is to go about to Y12 in the Nether, and then just dig and dig and dig in a straight line. Occasionally you do bump into ancient debris this way, but it's pretty minimal. So one of the things you're going to need for sure is TNT. For those of you that don't have a mob farm, getting enough TNT can be frustrating because first of all you have to have a fair amount of sand, but that gunpowder is key. Looks like we hit some more blackstone here. And you do have to be careful about digging into lava. I find that at Y12 it's much less common, but that reminds me I'm going to put some blocks in my hotbar so that if we do run into any kind of lava, we can fill it in just like this. Whoops, oh boy. Well, I botched that one. I'll wait for that to clear out. Oop. Okay. Yeah, I've got such a powerful pickaxe that it just cuts right through everything. So I'm glad I brought that out. Okay, so you can see I probably am not interested in going any farther based on how far we have gone and what my goal is today. So I have a shulker box with a fair amount of TNT in it. So looks like I've got my flint and steel ready to go. I'm going to grab a stack of TNT and we're going to collect that. We don't want that blown up. So I'm going to place the TNT every couple blocks or wow, that's impressive. I think I placed that on the torch since I was standing right next to it. Well, I don't want that. I want the TNT there. And I'm going to place it every couple, 3 blocks here. I'm not too concerned about it. Usually what happens is the TNT blows a big enough hole that the TNT next to it falls down deeper. Whoops, that's not far enough. There we go. And takes you right down to bedrock, but whoops. Okay, I kind of like to keep it a little bit away. You'll notice that this is dripping here with lava. I don't want that lava to come falling through while I'm working, so I'm going to set this off. This is where the excitement happens. We're going to trigger that and run like crazy down the way. There it goes. We get to watch the carnage as it unfolds in front of us there. Now, sometimes we can get the hoglins, or not the hoglins, the zoglins mad because they took damage from our blasting. And I can appreciate that. I wouldn't want to get blasted either. Now I have to remember where the path is that we exposed and follow this path. And oh, look at that. There's ancient debris right there. Well, that's a lucky fortuitous find. I'm going to gap up, bridge up there. Let's see here. Almost there. I'm trying to create a place to catch it. All right, I'm just going to stand underneath it. And you know what I did? I dropped it down there because my inventory is full. Didn't think that through. Did it burn up in the lava? That would be embarrassing. Oh, nope, there it is. We're in good shape. Okay, one of the other things is that lava often, or ancient debris often is found together with other ancient debris. And sometimes you want to dig around. Sometimes you only find a single block of ancient debris, but that's okay. I'm going to sacrifice my granite so I can have that. And let's just take a little bit farther look down. Oh, down the way. Got myself on fire. Well, you'll notice that it didn't go all the way. Usually what happens is that for the larger explosions, it knocks the floor out from under the TNT. It falls and then doesn't trigger the next block of TNT. But so far, we already have one block of ancient debris, which is a good thing. I'm gonna reclaim this TNT, and I'm gonna set off this next one here. Oh, I don't want to be here. Kaboom! Oh, it's exciting and thrilling and noisy. Oh, look at that. More ancient debris. Boy, this is a good run. I like this. Because we need 4 pieces of ancient debris. Let's see here. Well, shoot. We have us a problem, don't we? Where'd that come from? I heard a lot of grunting, and I heard an arrow, and I got hit by something. I'm not sure what happened. All right, we'll try that again. All right. Jump in place, jump in place, jump in place. That gets us close enough. And we'll mine these pieces of ancient debris. Really? There we go. So now we have 3 ancient debris. What we really need is 1 more. The question is, will we find it in here? I don't see any more. Just keep going down the tunnel here. There's a lot of lava, so it's well lit in here. Sounds like a monkey or an ape or something. Oh boy, there he is. We don't need that. See, this is why we like Netherite. Powerful weapons. Let's see, I do not see any more ancient debris. I see bedrock. Just keep going. Now, is this all that we came across? I think this is the end of our tunnel, but what I notice is that it's just a small batch of lava there. So I think what I'm going to do is dig back up. And I think I'm just going to dig just a little bit farther down this tunnel. And I'm not too worried about losing a few torches. It just makes life easier as we'll get our flint and steel out here. We'll set that off and run to safety and enjoy. Ooh. So exciting. Oh, and look what we found right up there. That is awesome. All right, that means that we have all of the ancient debris that we need to make 1 netherite ingot. Make sure I catch that one. Did I catch it? Oh, we have 4, just like that. All right, I'm going to take a look here and see what else. I don't want to leave any ancient debris just sitting around, abandoned. Well, I do believe that is the end of our tunnel and the end of the ancient debris luck that we've had so far, but the point is that we have enough ancient debris for 1 ingot. And because that's exactly what I need to finish out my gear. Boy, look at all the lava that we got us into here. Oh, I left holes in my floor. Well, let's fix that real quick. Looks like I need some repair and some hunger addressed. All right, let's see here. We don't have any room to ditch some of this stuff here because obviously we have been busy down here. There's an ender chest there. Well, you know what? I can make another chest. So we'll do that. Pop that together. I'm not sure which one I want to save right now. Doesn't really matter. We'll create another chest here. We'll unload some of this junk that we don't really want to take home with us from here. Don't need flint. All right, and I got my 3 shulkers, and I've got my ancient debris. That's the important part of it. Now, what we could do is we could just cook it right in here. Looks like we're using planks here. I could separate a little bit of... Boy, this is slow going if you don't have a mega smelter. Look at that, we have 3 already. And here comes number 4. Now, do we really want to wait? Let's head back to the old house and see if we can... I don't want to look up because I don't want to look at the Enderman. Or we could just dispatch them. Be on the run, boys, on the run. I have this little base in here because they get mad at me. They can't come get me. I just take care of them right here. A little closer. There we go. And the two angry ones are done with me. That's a lot of Endermen right there. I just don't want to look at them. And they'll leave me be. I was just too impatient going up the stairs and didn't want to wait for them to move, so I just took care of them that way. Well, since we're walking through this tunnel here, let's take a look back at Matthew chapter 5 again. Verse 6, it says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." You know, we should always be on the lookout for truth and justice and doing the right thing. That's what we're called to do, and it says that we will be rewarded as such when we do that. So I appreciate that. I always want to be looking out for what's right, doing the right thing. Kindness, love, encouragement, being a blessing to people, that kind of stuff. And in verse 7 it says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy." You know, mercy is not punishing somebody when they really deserve it. And that's us, for sure. You know, we sinned and we fell short of God's glory, but you know what? Instead of punishing us, God loved us so much that he sent his son, that we don't have to pay that price. And so we have been shown mercy by God, so let us mirror that in all that we do as well. Let's honor him and do what he did for us, and that's show mercy to others. Oh, we're getting close to that spawn hub, so let's hit one more verse. I have a hard time sneaking through. There we go. Verse 8 says, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God." Well, I hope that I have a pure heart. I want to serve God. I want to do the right thing. I want to live like Jesus lived. It's just, it's something that, I want to see God. I want to see God move. I want to see God, make changes in my life. I want to see him bless the people that I love. And he's just so wonderful in that regard. I'm going to ditch some of these prismarine blocks here, prismarine crystals, prismarine shards, just so I have a little more working space. And I want to say that I have netherrack over here that I can get rid of. Starting to fill up a lot of those spaces there. Okay, so we're going to run over to our crafting table, and we're going to create netherite ingot, and that's with 4 gold ingots and 4 netherite scrap. And lo and behold, look at that. We now have 1 netherite ingot. I'm excited because that means that my chest plate is almost there. I'm gonna take that gold out of my inventory here. Put that back in there. But you know what I need now? I can't just bond this netherite ingot to my gear. I have to have a netherite template. And I want to say that's in my important stuff box. I'm going to park that here. Oh, well, I already have some netherite ingots, but it's no fun if you just see me pull them out of my chest. All right, now I have to remember what I did with it. I think I have, oh, there we go, trims and templates. So actually, I'm going to get my money out again so we can go through the whole process. Grab my money. All right, so we're going to grab a netherite template. Now, when we use that netherite template, it will be gone. It'll be all used up. So we need to make a copy of that. And I'm going to grab me just one, and just one. There we go. 1 diamond block so that we can convert that into diamonds. And then, oh, we also need 1 piece of netherrack. There we go. So we'll grab a little bit of that. We'll head back over to our crafting table. We're going to stick our netherite template in the center, I believe. We'll surround it with 8 diamonds, not 9. And we will also put netherrack up there. Let's try reversing those. There we go. So the netherite template, the netherrack in the center, and that gives us a copy. So now we have 2 netherite templates, and I have my smithing table embedded in the wall over here. So I'm going to take off my chest plate. I'm going to open that. I'm going to grab, let's see, it says a smithing template, so I need my smithing template. Here, add my diamond armor or weapon or tool. I put my chest plate in there. And now I can add my netherite ingot. And look what I have. It goes from a chest plate of diamond to a chest plate of netherite. Very exciting. So now I can put it on. Boom. I am covered in ancient debris. Let's switch over to the full view there. Doesn't that look awesome? Look at that. Man, my sunglasses look pretty slick in there. All right. So that's how to get netherite gear. You'll definitely want to have some decent armor to be able to accomplish that. I'm going to put my diamonds back in there. I'm going to put my smithing template back in there. And I'm going to put these back into my ender chest for safekeeping. All right. And I can probably organize some more of my stuff there. So for now, I think I'm going to call that an episode. It was a pleasure being with you today, learning about netherite and reading about the Bible in Matthew chapter 5, where it talks about the Beatitudes. But before we go, let's take a look at some of those last verses. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. Do you bring peace into the lives of others? I hope so. There's too much drama in the world. We need more people in agreement with each other and working to come to peaceful resolutions. It says, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. That's a powerful one. You know, when we serve God, we don't always become popular with the world. And, you know, there's a reason why Jesus was persecuted. And if we serve him, we will experience some of that ourselves. But what does it say in there in verse 10? It says, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So if you are persecuted, just know that because you're serving God, yours will be in the kingdom of heaven. Let's take a quick look outside, and we'll take a look at what this shader shows, because the sky is gorgeous at night. Oh, it's raining out here. Look at that beautiful clouds. And I want to say there's reflections. It's just hard to see it. There it is, the moonlight reflecting in the water. Isn't that beautiful? And in verse 11, it said, blessed are you when people insult you, persecute you, and falsely say all kinds of evil against you because of me. And it's true. When we serve Jesus, we will experience that. But Jesus rewards us in return for serving him. And finally, in Matthew 5:12, it says, rejoice and be glad, because great is your reward in heaven. For in the same way they persecuted the prophets who were before you. So don't think that you're the first person that catches flack for serving God and wanting to be wholesome and a blessing to others, because Jesus took a lot, and the prophets before him experienced a lot of persecution as well. So that's the Beatitudes. Remember to be like a bee. Be meek. That means strong, but kept under power or under control. And be willing to get out there and work, you know. And so for those of you that are part of our C4C server, welcome back in. Have fun building. You'll see that we've had just a lot of changes and updates, and there's just, the whole village is kind of filling in, which is exciting. So, and there's more and more, and we'll visit some of those in another episode. I just ran out of time. And until then, God bless each of you. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye-bye.